Well, everyone, it seems we are at the final part to this wonderful hospital series by Glitter Cricket. If you haven't heard the first 4 parts, find the links in the description and start from there. These will all be in a playlist ready for you whenever you want them. I froze. There was a knock at the door. I ran over to the bed and grabbed the files. I lifted the mattress and pushed them under it. I closed my browser and turned off my computer. Who is it? No reply. I walked over slowly to the door and peered out of the peephole. It was the receptionist. I opened the door. Yeah? Can I help you? I'm sorry to bother you. The police are out front. I told them you weren't here, but they said they see your car and, I don't know what kind of trouble you're in, but you need to get out of here. You seem like a nice lady and thank you. Thank you so much. I slammed the door in his face, not intentionally. I appreciated him. I just had no time to waste. I grabbed up all my stuff and threw it into my bags. I got my dog and I hauled ass. I went through the back exit of the hotel. Although it was a longer walk to my car, I could at least see from a distance if they were out waiting for me. I didn't see anyone, so I booked it. I ran as fast as I could. I got to the car and started it up while I locked the doors. I hit the gas, but it didn't go anywhere. I mashed it again. Nothing. What the hell? I go out to check my tires and I noticed the back right tire had a boot on it. Holy shit! I said. Then everything went black. My vision didn't come to me immediately. My hearing was there, though. You know, your hearing is the last to go. I talked to all my life support patients, or those in comas. They can still hear you. Maybe not everything, but I like to think that they get some sort of comfort from it. I no longer had good memories associated with this song. My adrenaline kicked in and my eyes opened up. I realized my worst nightmare had come true. They got me. I was restrained to a gurney. I immediately started to pull and flail, but being that I was restrained to a gurney, I quickly realized that I couldn't shake too much or I'd flip over. What the fuck? I yelled. Let me go! Who the fuck are you? What do you want? I continued on. Dr. Cates walked in the room holding a clipboard. I see you're up, he said in a cheerful voice. I knew Dr. Cates. He frequented the ICU patients. I had always thought he was so charming. Why are you doing this to me? I asked in a pitiful voice while tears streamed down my face. Well, Cassie, you went snooping and stuck your nose where it didn't belong now, didn't you? He said as a matter-of-factly as he wrote something down. You're involved in this too? What kind of sick fucks are you people? He put the pen down on the clipboard and focused his gaze on me. You see, Cassie, this is a very lucrative business we run up here. It's been going on for almost 50 years now. You were safe. We had a strict no-employee policy. Well, until they go poking their heads where it don't belong. And that, my dear, is exactly what you and Shayna did. You killed her! I knew you killed her! They tried to make me feel crazy, like she didn't exist. Why her? You could have just taken me. Why her? That night you came up here together, we had a new admission. He was referring to bringing someone up here on the 3rd floor. And we happened to hear all your commotion. Our colleague stepped out of the room to see who was up here, and that's when he saw Shayna. She was yelling Diablo. She saw the evilness in you that I wasn't able to. Actually, what she saw, I would imagine, was really scary. My colleague and I were performing a lobotomy on a patient and the procedure went wrong. Guess my colleague hadn't properly restrained him because he fought us. And in the struggle, my colleague went through the angular artery. A big to-do, really. Blood everywhere. He was pretty saturated with it. When he ran to check on the noise, he was covered in the red mess. In the dark, I'm sure it did look like the devil. He laughed again, like it wasn't as big of a deal as it really was. I kept quiet for a while. I didn't even know what to say. I think the shock had kicked in and my brain was just focusing on how to get out of this situation. Well then, I'm sure you know what goes on up here then. A variety of things really. Some patients we use new drugs on or take them off their current medication just to see what happens. Some patients we try new procedures on. Others, we use old procedures. He put his finger to his forehead, referring to the lobotomy. Sometimes, we just want to see what others will do when pushed to the point of survival. It's a fascinating business, really. You're disgusting. You and anyone else involved in this. Those people don't deserve that. Those people are helping us make medical breakthroughs every day, Cassie. It's a necessity to have test subjects. You can only learn so much from testing on animals. Human being subjects, though, they have been teaching us since the beginning of time, really. This place will be shut down. Eventually someone will find out the atrocities that take place in here. You can't get away with this forever. I screamed at him. Cassie, we have many procedures set in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. That's why you're here, he smiled at me. And you're mistaken if you think this is the only location this happens at, my dear. This is a worldwide business. What do you think we discuss at all those conferences we have? Anyways, I'm going to get the nurse to grab some chlorhexidine and get you ready for your procedure, he said as he walked out of the room. Fuck. I had to get out of here. I had a janky hairpin in my ponytail. It was a far stretch, but it's all I had. I bent my body sideways as best as I could, and my neck immediately started cramping from the angle I had it. The first couple times I barely touched it. Man, how we take our thumbs for granted. Finally, I got my thumb position right and grabbed it. It was one of those cheap metal hairpins that the ball of wax had worn off, leaving a sharp metal end. And to think, I almost threw it away this morning. I started to stab the fabric on the restraint, over and over and over again. I actually had a small hole started, and then, to my complete horror, I dropped it. I started to cry. That was it. I was going to die, and no one was going to know what happened to me. The nurse walked in with all the supplies and laid them out on the Mayo stand next to me. I knew her too. Not well, but I knew her. I had her for Secret Santa one year. I had gotten her a Bath & Body Works candle and a Starbucks gift card. I didn't know if we were supposed to tell them later that it was from us or not, but I did. One day in the elevator. She told me it was the best Secret Santa she'd received in the 6 years she was there. She realized it was me and gasped. Oh, Cassie. You're involved too? I asked in a cracking voice as tears started to fall down my cheeks into my ears. I don't want to be. They made me. I'm so sorry, Cassie, she said as tears filled her eyes. I never assisted on a patient that was someone I knew. Usually they just get them off the streets, junkies or runaways. I've never had to do this to an employee, she said with a sadness in her voice. Please, Steph, please, I pleaded, crying so hard I could barely see. She looked around and back to me. They'll kill me. They'll kill my family. They'll kill you. I can't, Cassie. I closed my eyes and sobbed hard. That's the kind of thing that takes the breath right out of you. There's so many things I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to travel, settle down, have a big wedding, start a family. So many things. But I was about to die. A week before my 24th birthday. With my eyes closed, I felt a tug on my arm. Steph was untying me. I don't understand, I asked. As much as I wanted to live, I didn't feel right knowing that she had to sacrifice her life or her loved ones just so I could. I understood her predicament and I didn't hate her for it, but she was helping me, with everything at stake. I'm going to cause a distraction. Run like hell. She took the last one off my foot and I hopped off the gurney. I hugged her hard and I breathed her in. I finally released her and started towards the door. She grabbed my arm and pulled me back. She placed her badge in my hand and closed my fingers around it. Go! I ran like I never had before. I didn't have time to wait on the elevator. It was too risky. I ran straight for the stairwell. I swiped her card and opened it. I ran down the stairs so fast I skipped some each time. I got outside in the parking lot, remembered I didn't have a car. I didn't even know where mine was. I ran across the street to a dollar store and called a cab. I got into the cab and took it back to my house. I grabbed the spare from under my flower pot and ran to pack my things. I grabbed my secret money stash I had hidden in the floorboard and my gun. I jumped back in the cab and pulled him just to drive. I placed 200 in cash on the console. Consider this a deposit, I said, and his expression changed from, "Are you crazy?" to, "Yes, ma'am." I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who I can trust. I don't think I'm going to make it. I'll be found and they will kill me. Slowly. So before I go, I wanted to thank you all for letting me tell my story. I needed someone to believe me. Even if I can't change any of this, I can at least warn you. Please, whatever you do, stay away from hospitals. Wow, what a fantastic story. It's not often that I get very into stories like this, but man, that one just grabbed me all the right ways. Guys, if you enjoyed the story, make sure you go show the author some love over on Reddit. And it kind of does make you think, though, how much of this stuff do you think actually happens beyond our knowledge and that we could get in trouble or even hurt for knowing? You never know what's going on out there, do you guys? Good night.